Hi there, I'm Nancy Nash with Starfish Strength, and today I want to help you take a strong step towards your goals. We're going to do a workout with an aerobic step and dumbbells that will build strength, endurance, tone, and improve your balance. For today's workout, we're going to be using an aerobic step and risers. The aerobic step I have came with 4 risers. There is also an expansion set, so I'll leave links below if you're interested in that. But I'm assuming if you clicked on this workout, you already have something like this, or you have a bench you can use. The other items you'll want to have handy are an exercise mat, a pair of dumbbells or cans, and make sure you've got some water handy too. And if you're just using a small workout bench and it doesn't come up quite high enough, you could use a sturdy chair to support yourself for a couple of the exercises we're going to go through. Whatever you decide to use today, just make sure that it can support your body weight and that it has no wheels and it's going to stay in place for you. And then just make sure you've got enough space to make a snow angel in all directions. So we're going to start with just a brief warm up with your body weight. So I'm going to march in place. I'm going to drive opposite knee towards opposite elbow, just twisting through my core. If you can't lift the knee above the hip right now, that's okay. We're just trying to warm up the quads, the hip flexors. I should feel this in the middle of my back twisting. I should feel this in my core. And then as you're sitting your feet down, be gentle on the joints. See if you can set the ball of the foot down first. And then challenge yourself to twist a little bit as you start to get warmed up. Next, going into the upper body, I'm going to reach the arms out to the side and then just alternatively cross the arms over. So I'm just doing some arm crosses just to get the blood flowing in the arms, stretching across the chest. And then as I alternatively do those hugs, I should feel that stretch between the shoulder blades. So give yourself just a couple more swings like that. Just really feeling that stretch in the front of the chest, between the shoulder blades. You might feel this in other parts of the back as well. Kind of depends on where you're stiff. Next, I'm going to step my feet wider apart and we're going to do a side to side hip shift. So I want to keep my toes straight and I only want to step my feet so wide as I can bring the hip in line with the ankle before I bend that knee and push back. So really pushing your butt back, you should get a good stretch in that outer hip. And then you should also get a good stretch in the inner thigh on the straight leg side. So if your hips are feeling really tight today and you need to make this a little bit narrower, that is just fine. Meet your body where you're at. So try 1 or 2 more. Nice work. For our last warm-up move, we're actually going to want to set up our step with our risers. So I've just set up my aerobic step with 2 risers on each side. If you also have additional risers, you can add those in as we get going, as you need them in the other exercises. So for this last warm-up move, I'm going to come into a plank position with my hands right underneath my shoulders and my sternum centered right in between my thumbs. I'm going to step 1 foot forward, so I'm going to lunge, and then I'm going to lift the arm that's facing that leg and twist. So I should get a good stretch on the outside of the hip, the shoulders, into the torso. I'm going to twist back and switch sides. So twisting in the other direction, I should feel a really good stretch in the outside of this hip and in this shoulder. And we're just speed it up just a little bit. So as you alternate side to side, you should also really feel this in the calves. We're definitely stretching them as well. Hopefully you can feel that stretch in the glutes. If you're feeling this in an unkind way in the shoulders, let yourself just not twist quite as far. And you can always slow this down. Let yourself take it to an even higher surface than I'm doing it on and just go through this slowly. Always meet your body where you're at. Every day is a little bit different. Nice work. Go ahead and let yourself grab some water if you need some. So first we're going to do a single leg step up with a knee raise. I'm going to step kind of right in the middle, line up my ankles, knees, and hips. I'm going to try to keep them all in alignment pretty much the entire time I'm doing this exercise. So next I'm going to draw my belly in and shift my hips forward. And then I'm going to push up and then come back down. When I come back down, I want to make sure that I'm using the ball of the foot to land. Next, we're going to step up and raise a knee and crunch the abs. And if you feel confident in your balance, you can make this all into one step. Again, I want to use more muscle strength and momentum, so keep that in mind. And my knee placement is really going to tell the story. So if my knee keeps going back and forth, then I'm using more momentum. But if my knee is coming right in line with my toe and kind of staying there throughout most of this exercise, then I know I'm really driving with muscular strength. So go ahead and take a step up, let yourself raise the knee, really feel all of those muscles engage, and then control on that step back, landing with the ball of the foot, drawing the belly in, squeezing the quads and glutes as I push through the ball of the front foot to raise the knee, and then landing softly with the ball of the foot as I step back. Now it takes some time to learn balance and control with this. So if you need a chair rail beside you so that you can have a little extra support, then please do that by all means. We don't want anyone feeling so unbalanced that they're going to lose their balance while we're trying to build your balance. Great job. So lining up for this on the other side, I'm going to, again, make sure my ankles, knees, and hips are lined up. I'm going to draw the belly in and shift my weight forward into that leg that's on the step. So that's the working leg. So I want to push off that leg and bring my other leg beside it. So now we're going to add that knee raise. So drawing the abs in, I'm going to raise the knee up. Now this time, if you feel strong enough, build that all into one motion where I'm pushing off the step and immediately driving that knee up. Now, I'm not a dancer. I did not start life as a coordinated person. It took me a while to start pumping opposite arm with the other leg, but it really makes it more efficient for walking, running, hiking, anything that you want to do as a biped. So just let yourself practice that using the opposite arm to help drive that knee up, and then controlling in the opposite fashion on the way back. Now, if you're noticing any discomfort in your knees, or you notice that your knees are collapsing in towards one another, then go ahead and take out all the risers in this step and just use the step itself. And if that's too much, then just use the floor and use the chair, because even practicing stepping forward and raising your knee will help you over time build the strength to do this. And before you know it, you'll be able to raise this even higher. Nice work. Go ahead and let yourself grab some water if you need some. So next we're going to do a single arm row. So I've set up my aerobic step with all of the risers so I can come into approximately a tabletop position because I'm pretty tall. So if you're having trouble getting into the position that I'm about to demonstrate, please feel free to use a sturdy chair instead. So I'm going to line up so I've got the ankles right underneath the hips, and I'm going to place one hand on the step and I want the other arm to be able to hang freely on the side. So if you feel like you're centered with your step, just take a little scooch to the left or right. So drawing my belly in, I'm going to hinge at the waist. I don't want any stitches in my lower back. I want to make sure I can keep my back flat the whole time. And if that means I have to bend the knees to get into this tabletop position, that is just fine. So with the supporting hand right underneath my shoulder, I'm going to start rowing with the opposite arm. So I'm going to roll the shoulder blade back. Think about pinching it towards the other shoulder blade, bringing the elbow out towards my side, and kind of thinking about like rolling it so that I'm pulling the elbow towards my waistline. So if I can, I'm going to try to keep my head in a neutral position. There's a tendency to kind of lift the chin. I'm going to try to look right down in front of my forehead. So as much as I can, I just want to keep my neck in a neutral position. If your back is getting tired at any point during this, just let yourself come out for a moment and then come back in. And again, if this is too low for you, that's okay. Please use something higher. It's so much better that you're training the muscles properly than using the same equipment the whole time. Then you're really working that whole shoulder complex, all of those supporting muscles. So try 1 or 2 more reps, just thinking about all the muscles that work. Let yourself come up, shake out the hips, and we're going to do this on the other side. Into this on the second side, I'm going to line up the same way. I'm going to draw the belly in, bend the knees slightly as I start to hinge from the waist, keeping that lower back flat, resting the hand right underneath my shoulder so I feel well supported. All right, so let's think about the muscles that we're working. We're drawing the abs in, we're rolling the shoulder blade down and back, so I'm not scrunching it up towards the ear. So I should really feel it in the middle part of my back between the shoulder blades. I should also feel it mightily in the triceps. Those are working here as my elbow is bending. And then I'm doing that reach back down, kind of like you're reaching for something behind a couch. You're going to get that stretch in between the shoulder blades. I should be able to feel this in the glutes and the hamstrings. They're holding us in place. They're working really hard for you, right? You're doing a great job. Remember, come up and rest your back at any point if you need to. But we've just got a couple more reps, really focusing on that form, focusing on that reach, and then that pulling the shoulder blade all the way back and down. Nice job. Definitely grab some water if you need some. And we're going to go on to our next exercise. So for this one, you'll want your exercise mat underneath your knees. And we're going to set up for an elevated plank. I'm going to bring the forearms right onto my step. And then I want to try to center my sternum between my forearms, which means my hands are going to be closer to my shoulders. So thinking about centering the sternum between your forearms, drawing the belly in, squeezing the glutes. You can step your knees back and kind of already feel that plank hold in the abs. And then from there, if you're ready for it, we're going to push to the balls of the feet and we're going to hold. So just because we're not on the floor doesn't mean that we're not going to work hard. So I want to pull the shoulders down, pull the elbows towards my hips, really crunch the abs, and then push up to the toes. I should even feel a squeeze into my glutes. I should feel this in the quads. Now, plank is one of those exercises that you're going to be in charge of how difficult it is. You can just kind of be hanging out, maybe let your back sag, or you can have your entire body fired up the whole time. So I'm going to recommend the second way. That is definitely better for strength training. It's better for calorie metabolism. So really think about pulling your shoulders down, driving your elbows towards your hips. Think about tucking your pelvis and driving your hips towards your elbows like you're trying to crunch the entire time. Think about squeezing your glutes, pushing through the balls of your feet, and really firing up your quads. And if you need to take a break and come back in, that's always an option too. You don't have to hold this for infinity. A plank for 10 seconds with great form and integrity is so much better to me than a 7-minute plank where you're just hanging out. Nice work. Next, we're going to do an elevated glute bridge. So you may want to lower this. The higher I have it, the more difficult it becomes. So start with it as low as you need to. You can even start with your feet on the floor and then let yourself go up from there. So I'm going to line up my heels so that they're supported right in the middle of the step. And then the whole time I'm doing this exercise, I want to make sure that my hips, knees, and ankles are aligned. I'm going to place my palms face down by my sides, draw my belly in, squeeze the glutes, and lift the hips. And as I lift the hips, I really need to drive through the heels. So I'm pulling with the heels back towards my hips so that this step doesn't start sliding away from me. So you're really going to feel this mightily in hamstrings. You're going to feel it quite a bit in the glutes. You're going to feel it in the lower abs. You might even feel your back muscles getting involved. If you need to just do a few of these, rest and then do a few more, or do a few, bring this down a couple notches. That is a-okay. This is a tough hamstring exercise. And a lot of us, unfortunately, have weak and tight hamstrings just because we have to sit for a good portion of the day. If you feel like you're going to get a muscle cramp, come right out of it. Let yourself move the legs around and then slowly come back into it. So lining the heels up hip width, drawing my belly in, squeezing my glutes, and as I lift my hips, I'm thinking about driving them forward towards my knees, pulling the heels towards my glutes. So really, if you think about it kind of like a butt kick, it will help you really get that hamstring action that we're after and help your step not slide across the room. So you can do your lift a little bit quicker, and then you want that lower to be a little bit slower, that eccentric motion, because we're building strength in both phases of this exercise. So give yourself 1 or 2 more, whatever level you're at today. Let yourself gently move the legs around, and we're going to go on to our last exercise. So I'm going to use all of my risers to build my step up as high as I can. We're going to use this step as a bench and do a dumbbell chest press. I'm going to lay down on my back and position my feet so they're about hip width. Draw my belly in, and then I want to press the dumbbells together right over my chest. So you can see that the elbows are coming out to the sides of my rib cage, and there's about 60 degrees of space between my elbows and my torso. So I don't have the elbows super tight, giving the shoulders plenty of room to move. And then I'm really thinking about drawing the shoulder blades down and together as I let the weights descend by my sides. Pressing the weights together, I'm going to draw my belly in and push through my feet a little bit as well. So even though this is a chest press, my whole body is engaged, helping out. So as I let the elbows come out to the sides of my chest, I can let the elbows dip just a little below my bench, and then I'm really going to get that full range of motion out of the pec muscles, the serratus muscles. This is a great exercise for training the core, training the back, not just the shoulders and the chest. If for any reason your shoulders are bothering you, just bring the elbows level with your chest, or you could bring yourself completely onto the floor. Doing this on the floor is also a great modification if you're having any tenderness in your lower back, because you'll be able to get the spine into a much more neutral position when you have the knees bent and the feet on the floor. But with either version, make sure you can really feel that engagement of the core, drawing the belly button in as I press the weights together over the chest, and then drawing the shoulder blades down and together, kind of squeezing them together behind you as you descend. If you can get both of those things into your form, you will be solidly set up to increase the weight in this in no time. So let yourself try 1 or 2 more with really good form. Awesome job! You made it through this entire workout. You rock! Thanks so much for taking the time to exercise with me today. I hope you feel set up with a new workout to work into your routine to support your health and fitness. If you do want some additional support for specific health, fitness, and nutrition questions that you have, please always feel free to reach out to me in the link in the description for a complimentary consultation. And if you're looking for more workouts, exercises, stretching tips, or healthy recipes, please check out the rest of my YouTube channel. And in the meantime, I look forward to continuing this journey with you, and I'll see you in the next video.